and NFL wide receiver rankings for fantasy football. We're getting closer and closer to the fantasy playoffs. We're not only factoring in the Week 10 projections and the Week 10 matchups, you have the Bengals, Chiefs, Cowboys, Titans all on bye, but you're still going to see the players in these rankings. Why? We're also factoring in rest of season. So make sure you make your moves before the trade deadline. We're going to be talking name by name, breaking down their Week 9 performances and what their outlook is rest of season and in Week 10. Smash the like and subscribe button. Let's start off with S tier. To be honest, we got it pretty good. Nothing's got to change in my eyes, right? So I haven't seen Sunday Night Football yet while I'm recording this. Also, that means Monday night. So JSN CD, kind of, TBD. But I like how S tier looks. What I would do personally is probably put Puka Nacua in the 1 or 2 spot. But he had the injury scare again. This guy is made of glass. You can't trust the longevity. You have Adams. I mean, I know Puka brings in the long 30-yard touchdown pass in Week 9, but Adams with the 2 touchdowns. I mean, Adams is that red zone guy. You see that we have him quite high in our rankings, and that's why. So we were right on him as well. I like where the S tier is. I like the outlook on every single one of these guys. Pretty easy when you don't have to make any changes. I honestly like how A tier looks as well. A lot of people might say, should Drake London be up here in S tier after his massive, 30-point game where he had 3 touchdowns? No. I'm going to bump him up ahead of Rashee Rice, though. Panics in London. They got a good dynamic, man. We've seen it week in, week out. So I'm going to put him ahead of Rashee, but I'm still going to have him in the top of A tier. Rashee, Devontae, Jefferson, and Nico Collins. If TJ Stroud misses time, I think there's an argument Nico Collins can fall down here to B tier. I honestly am scared for Justin Jefferson with the JJ McCarthy, the way that he played. Now, the good news here is that Jefferson got 9 targets. The good news is he had a touchdown. The bad news, take out the touchdown, he had 10 fantasy points. So I don't like it. I really don't like it. I mean, with JJ McCarthy, Jefferson is averaging, give or take 14 points per game. Hopefully, as McCarthy gets more experience, he plays better. But I think this honestly could be a bit of an aggressively high ranking for Jefferson. The rest of these guys in A tier look really solid rest of season besides Nico Collins, who I think the Texans O-line is so bad. I think Collins is going to have some volatile performances, but he is the main guy there. He is Stroud's favorite guy, Stroud's favorite target. Devontae, red zone beast. Rashee, going to get a lot of targets, even though he only had 12 points in Week 9. Looking at B tier, what do you do with a Dunze? Rome Odunze, at one point, we had a Dunze in S tier. Were we out of our mind? Look at his first 4 weeks of the season, and then look at the last 4. 5, 5, 18, and then 0. A goose egg. 3 targets and a complete goose egg in Week 9. It's disappointing. And a Dunze, he's got to fall just for the lack of reliability. Got to fall a whole tier just for the goose egg performance. I like the way B tier looks outside of that. You have A.J. Brown taking on the Packers. Is A.J. Brown going to be healthy? Keep an eye on that. Then Devontae Smith will also rise in these rankings. I'm assuming everyone from Philly is healthy, though, for Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup in Lambeau. T-Mac, he led the team in receiving for the Panthers, but this game was won against the Packers by Rico Dowdle. Dowdle was a high riser in our RB rankings, but T-Mac, he just doesn't have the same ops as some of these other receivers. Got to bump down a whole tier 2, to be honest. The Jets are coming off of a bye week. BTJ also has to fall. I still am leaving him. I believe a little bit. I believe a little bit. I believe less. And I believe less and less. Travis Hunter's on IR, and you still saw BTJ with 3 catches. Like, what's going on, man? What is going on? Parker Washington is the wide receiver 1. Like, come on, buddy. Speaking of Parker Washington, before I forget, I'm going to put him in F tier. Maybe I'll put him actually down here in the bottom of E tier, but he's honestly, he's like he's a desperate flex play. I think he's probably, his floor might be like 7 or 8 points, but I don't know, man. I want to see more. He should be rostered, though. Looking at the rest of these guys here, Egbuka, if healthy, should be right here. Olave. Shaheed had 9 targets. Shaheed, he just prints, 10-point games. Good floor, bad ceiling. Although his ceiling is high because he's a speed threat, but we haven't seen him hit that yet. Olave coming off his best game of the year. All shucks. Tyler Shucks stinks. Olave's got to drop in these rankings. Pittman has been Mr. Consistent. He's got to rise. Flowers, he's also been pretty consistent. Sutton had 1 catch, 30 yards and a touchdown, but he still had good targets. I'm going to leave him where he is. I'm going to leave Ladd where he is. The Chargers offense, it's hard to pick which receiver is going to get the good game. It seems like Gatson is pretty safe, but then between Ladd, the Big Q, and Keenan Allen, Pretty much two of those guys will have decent games, like 10 points and 15 points. One of those guys is going to get a touchdown, and then the third one's just going to have, 2 catches for 20 yards. And that was Keenan Allen this week. Ladd probably should fall a little bit too behind Waddle. Devontae Smith is the clear Eagles, alpha. And I'm going to leave him here in D tier. Like, he's honestly playing better than A.J. Brown week in, week out. MHJ, DK Metcalf, disappointing. We'll see how MHJ plays on Monday Night Football. You guys will already know that when watching this. But Metcalf had a terrible game here for the Steelers. Better days ahead. I'm actually not going to drop him in the rankings because Keenan Allen also had a bad day. Debo, this guy's banged up all the time. We'll see how he plays on Sunday Night Football if he's even playing. T. Higgins, massive game, massive riser. I'd rather have Higgins in my Week 10 lineup than all these guys ahead of him. I think he's a must-start option. Joe Flacco is making Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and Higgins. He's reviving their fantasy seasons. Jameson Williams also had a big game. I'll put him ahead of Keenan and Debo. But honestly, don't be deceived. He had 4 for 40 yards and a touchdown. And, almost all of that came on one catch. 6 targets. You're happy to see it. Keep in mind the Lions were playing from behind. How often will that happen? Jordan Addison, J.J. McCarthy sucks, man. We need Carson Wentz back. Addison, rest in peace, bro. Rest in peace to his outlook. It's not looking good. Hunter is obviously injured. Take him off the list. If Godwin's healthy, you start him. But I don't know. It's tough. This is where it is tough to trust any of these players. I think Terry McLaurin is also not going to be here. So keep in mind, it's scary. Terry probably shouldn't even be on this list at all. It seems like he'll probably wait till after the bye week to come back, coming off of his injury. Khalil Shakir, the top of E tier, is good. This is where we start getting to flex players, and I like Shakir, man. Looking at Khalil Shakir and what he's been doing week in, week out, the last 2 weeks, I like the amount of targets that he's been getting. 7 targets, 8 targets. Okay, that's not bad. The ceiling's not super high. He did drop 21 points when he had a touchdown. He's not going to give you insane high receiving totals, but he still is going to give you a decent flex option. 12 points, 15 points, 18 points, 11, 20. I think he's worth a flex play. I'm going to keep him where he is. It's impossible to know who's going to be the lead receiver for the Patriots as well. Is it Hunter Henry? Is it Booty? Is it Pop Douglas? Is it Diggs? I still think Diggs should be the guy you have higher, but I think Wandale is a big riser. I think Downs is a big riser. I think Diggs stays right where he is. Wandale had a lot of targets. He's getting all the ops for the Giants. DJ Moore, he played better than a Doomsday, but I'm going to leave him here. Jacoby Myers, trash. In Geno Smith's best game, Jacoby Myers still didn't play good. Hope that he gets traded for his sake. Shaheed is printing decent games. He's worth a flex spot because he's just going to get 10 points, and he is the deep option. He just hasn't been getting any. Ridley, banged up, didn't even play. Mooney, absolutely terrible game. Coleman, terrible game. Golden, terrible game. Jennings, we're going to bump him up with his 4 catch, 1 touchdown. Wasn't a great day, but when Brock Purdy comes back, hopefully in Week 10, his stock should rise. And I would put Jennings, honestly, ahead of Jacoby, ahead of Shaheed in the rankings. Ridley, he's been playing... He's been injured. Where do you even rank these guys, right? Would you rather have Hollywood, Judy? I think we're going to leave things where they are. Kupp didn't play in Week 9, so we're going to leave that there as well. And now we're going to consult with the sleeper rankings to see if we're missing anyone. I know one guy we're missing is the big Q, Quentin Johnston. And again, we're going to put him right ahead of Keenan Allen because it's hard to know when one of these guys is going to pop off. To be honest, the big Q, I'd probably start the big Q over James, and I'd probably start the big Q right behind DK Metcalf. Let's make the change. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Now, are there any receivers that I'm missing? Right off the bat, sleeper is looking pretty good. I mean, they're agreeing with a lot of my rankings here. I don't see anybody missing. Darius Slayton, is he worth ranking? I mean, you can throw Darius Slayton right here. Let's put him right behind Jerry Jeudy. I mean, it's not great. Oh, the one guy we are missing is Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin is worth a flex play. You might say, why? He had such a bad game. Coming off of a career game, sure, he had a bad game in Week 9. He had 10 targets. He led the team in targets. I don't care that he had 4 catches. I could care less. Tough luck if you started him, but he had 10 targets. The ops were there. I'd put Troy Franklin, to be honest, ahead of Jacoby Myers. So Troy Franklin should be somebody you probably consider throwing in your flex. Tez Johnson should probably be rostered, but it's not exciting. Parker Washington. I would put Parker Washington, honestly, right behind Shaheed. I think that's all. Those are all the wide receivers I wanted to rank right here for week number 9. We'll head to QB, tight end, and defense in the next vid. Thanks for watching.